Okay, now I'm going to start here with a blank SPSS datasheet, and I am going to import my data from my Excel spreadsheet. So I need to change this to Excel and then go to where I saved the data. Okay, and this is the set that I prepared. Oops. So I need to make sure that the worksheet that's selected is raw data. Read variable names from first row and continue. Okay, so there's the data. Here's all the variables. And this is the Panther ID column, which will be the column that you use for merging the two data sets. Now, one of the first things that we need to do, and this is a very important step, and that is all the way over here towards the end. Okay, right here. These three columns indicate which experiment condition the participant wound up in, as far as whether they were sent to a website that had the music versus the socks, and whether they were given the website that had the avatar or did not have the avatar. So we need to separate, in particular, these two variables, because these represent, and let me show you where those come from. That was the question on the survey right here that asked for them to click on the third string of letters. So we're going to be given, in that column we have codes 1 through 4, so that represents which of these the participant wound up with. So each of these codes actually represents two aspects of the experiment condition, whether there was an avatar and the product category. So since here these two things are combined, we need to separate those out. So here's how we do that. So the codes mean the same exact thing for both the male condition and the female condition. So remember, we asked for the gender, and so that sent them to either the male question or the female question. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit transform and recode into different variables. So this is going to allow us to split that one variable into two. Okay, so we hit recode, and then we're going to select which variables. And so we're going to select this M condition, which means male condition, and the female condition. And so we're going to create a new name for each one. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to combine both into the same, we're going to, I'm sorry, it's a little bit difficult to explain. We want to have one variable that tells us whether they saw an avatar or didn't see an avatar, and then a separate variable to tell us if they were in the socks condition or in the music condition. So we're going to label that, we're just going to call it avatar, will be the one variable. Okay, so that's the one we're going to work on first. Okay. It's not letting me do this. Okay. All right, we'll start with just one first then. Okay, so old and new variables. Now, of these codes, the number 1 and 2 meant that they were sent to a website that had an avatar. So we're going to have the new number that's produced is going to tell us whether or not there was an avatar. So we're going to have that just be 1. So we click add. The number 2 does the same thing. It tells us that there was an avatar, so avatar present. And 3 and 4 they went to a site with no avatar, so we're going to call that 0. Okay, so no avatar means 0. Okay. So we're going to click continue, and then we're going to hit OK, and it's going to create that new variable at the end here. There we go. And so here we see zeros and ones. All right, so that got translated into this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing again, but this time with the female. We're combining the data, so female condition, avatar. And it's not going to replace the variables that are already in the avatar column, because these are the responses from just the females. So we hit change. That's okay. And the old and new variables, everything is the same. Okay, so we don't need to change that. So we hit continue, and we click OK. And so as you can see, all it did was to fill in the blank spots that were there. Any blank spots that remain indicate that this is just a participant that dropped out of the study at some point. So that's what it looks like happened right there. Yep. Okay, so this is the one treatment condition we have, avatar versus no avatar. Now we're going to go back to those two variables. So we're going to go back to recode into different variables. Let's start again with the male. And so now we're going to get the information about whether they were sent to the SOX website or the music website. So we're going to call this product category. And so we're going to change these, so we'll just remove them. And so now the code number 1 and number 3 sent them to the music website. So we're going to, what we'll do is, for the product category, 0 will represent SOX and 1 will represent music. So let's see, the SOX website, let's see, that's code 2 and code 4. Meanwhile, code 1 sent them to music, so that's the 1. And code 3 sent them to music. So these numbers are just categorical labels, Ricardo. So these just represent something else. So this is just going to be used for the ANOVA analysis to designate groups. All right, so we hit continue, and then OK. So now we have the new column here. So then we do the same thing again, transform, recode into different variables. And this time it's going to be the female responses. And so we're going to give it the same exact name because we want the blanks filled in for the female responses. So product category, hit change. We click OK here. And everything here stays the same. So we hit OK. And then it filled in our blanks. And the reason why we can combine the male and the female responses into a single column is because we already have a variable over here that tells us their gender. Okay, so we know that, number 2 right here, that means female, so we know that these responses pertain to a female, so we don't need a separate column to tell us which were the females with the avatar condition and which were the males. So we already have a column that tells us that.